it helps if you guys can hear me. That's what I've just decided. I've decided that from now on, I'm going to make it so you guys can actually hear me. So, hello. Can hear you. Let me know, especially if you're over on locals. Is the video reasonable? Like, is it choppy? Is it coming through clearly? Is the video and the audio synced up? Yeah, we changed every setting in here. The locals crew is awesome. They saw us trying to get the good live streaming going last week. And two different people at locals contacted me. Oh Lunduke, you're doing it wrong, buddy. You're just screwing up. So they gave me the big onslaught of what exactly settings I should have. Video is choppy, Fossman is saying. How choppy? Like when we were talking choppy, so last week, so there's two things. One, last week, apparently my settings were all wrong for the way the local server was configured. That should be fixed, hopefully, unless I screwed something up, which is possible. And then two, locals is doing a whole 15 frames per second is okay at the moment. I'm okay with that because you're still seeing that the live stream hasn't started yet on your end. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me? The screen changes every few seconds. Okay, all right. So this is what I'm wondering. So there's a couple things going on. I'm assuming you guys can all hear me, so I can talk you through this. So once this recording finishes, the recorded version will look just fine. The recorded version will be dandy smandy. The streaming coming out of the local servers is currently a little bit of a problem, and apparently they're doing a big upgrade on that, like right now. Like that's something they're working on right now. So I've decided I'll just be kind of cool with that at the moment, and I think that's going to be fine. I want to make sure though I have everything dialed in as well as can be. Thank you, Glenn, over on YouTube. The great and the audio synced well on their end. I think the video over on YouTube is perfect. I think the video over on Rumble is perfect. I think it's just a video streaming thing on locals, which is a massive bummer because locals is where everything is at for us nowadays. So it's a massive, massive bummer when the locals live streaming isn't working great. But the good news is they know that. They know that it's a problem and they're working on it right now. So could be worse. You know what I'm saying? Could be a whole heaping helping worse. So we'll go ahead and take it and we'll roll with it. Plays fine in Rumble. Yeah. See, things are looking fine in Rumble and on YouTube. The cool thing is I've got it at the point now where it still says, you're right, this still shows the stream has not started yet over on locals. But yet it's playing for some people. I think there are... Oh, now I might have just broken it on locals entirely. Oh, that is just tremendously less than ideal. Tremendously less than ideal. But what can you do? Here's what we're gonna do. The locals video is choppy. So I am going to tell everyone over on locals, go to Rumble or YouTube for this stream. Let me see if I can get back here. That's less than ideal because locals is fantastic. Oh man, locals is having 500 errors galore. I'm gonna edit this so people can see it. Edit. go to YouTube or Rumble for this stream. And then I'm going to go copy the live stream here. Where's that at? I think that's this one. And then I am going to and we're going to go ahead and send that over there. Next, save. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and let people know where they can find it. Oh my gosh. Locals is having a heck of a day. Oh man, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the Locals crew because they clearly are having a heck of a day. Let me see if I can get this message even posted to all of them. And then maybe we'll post this to Twitter. Live streaming. Post. There we go. I'll let people know as best I can, and then we'll get this party started. Did this load? Poor Locals. Poor Locals. Oh, Locals. Oh, Locals. How you feel so much pain. I'm not even sure that I can manage to let people know on Locals because my Locals thing isn't even loading. Wow, Locals has had the worst day. If any, let me, all right, it's letting me edit it now. It's letting me edit it now. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Non-stop 500 errors. Come on. Is here. Locals having a bad day. Smiley face. Publish. Please work. Stay on target. I'm trying to tell people where the thingy is. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't even know. All right, let's see what do we got here. That works. I don't even know if that's going to post. I don't even know. It's just like hang in there. I feel so bad for the Locals folks. The team over at Locals, because clearly they're having a heck of a day. I think they're doing a bunch of upgrades right now, and you know how it goes. When you do a bunch of upgrades, something goes wrong, and that's kind of where they're at right now. Is they're in the something is going wrong phase of doing bad gateway. Ooh, Mufasa. Oh, Locals is giving a bad gateway. That ain't good. All right, but I managed to get the message out, so we're just gonna go with it. Hello to YouTube and to Rumble then. All right, fantastic. Yeah, that's the right mic. Oh, holy heavens. Let me end this here. No, I just gotta leave that there. I can't believe that's going like that. So, well, hopefully the live stream will pick up and work over on the YouTube as well. Hey, John. Yes, it's me, the Duke of Lund. Why we're doing this stream today is to get things dialed in. We were doing it a little bit last week as well. I'm trying to get live streaming going on a regular basis. And like twice a week, we're going to start doing these live streams, once in the morning, once in the evening. So today we're going to do it. We kind of started around 5:30. The goal is, in general, we're going to start around 5 p.m. Central Time, one day a week. And then we're going to do a 9 a.m. Central Time one day a week. And these will be weekdays. And that way, hopefully, you'll be able to have a convenient time to get involved in one or the other, right? One or the other. If not, these will all be recorded. Now, the recorded versions of these will most likely all live over at Locals, ultimately. They might partially live at Rumble, but most of them are going to live up at locals. That's just a better way to go for me. But the live streams, we're going to continue doing the live streams on YouTube, on Rumble, and on locals. Now today, what's funny is we do almost everything through locals, and today locals is just broken. It's having a bad day. Every tech stack has a bad day. We'll let locals have a bad day today. It's a bad Monday for locals. I've kind of gotten to know some of their team over the last few years, and I feel bad for them. They're pretty good. They're a pretty solid team of people. Both their engineers and they're more operations and whatnot, folks. They're all good. They're all good people. They're good nerds, and they're having a bad day. But normally we'll stream on all three platforms. Living in IT every day is a bad day when you rely on the internet. That is very true, John. Truer words may have never been spoken before. It is a rough time for all internet-related people. And so I also had a interview cancel today. Well, not cancel, reschedule. He's sick. So it's okay. It happens. Week before last, Andreas Kling needed to, the Serenity OS guy needed to reschedule because he was sick. Then my interview for today had to reschedule because he's sick, and they're legitimately sick. Like, I talked to this guy on the phone, and man, you could hear and feel the snot coming through the phone. It was pretty brutal. So I'm like, yeah. We're going to wait. He hasn't been rescheduled yet. I'll tell you who that is later. He's a cool dude. I've talked to this guy in the past before, and you all know who he is. He's an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy in the IT world. You'll enjoy this chat. But we want to make sure he's in his top game. We want to make sure he's feeling fantastic. So we're gonna just wait until he's feeling a little bit better, and then we'll bring him on in and do it. That'll probably be sometime next week or the week after. You know how those colds go. Man, I've gotten some colds from my kids that have just seemed to last forever. It's absolute insanity. But yeah. We'll give him some time. So anyway, that's why we're doing this video chat today, because everything canceled on me, and we need to get this stuff dialed in anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to do a little Q&A today. We're going to record a little podcast in a minute so you guys can watch as I record the podcast live. And yes, we're going to start. I was just checking because I was waiting to hear back on when he's rescheduling for. No, that's not him. And we're going to do more shows with both audio and video. I'm going to keep the video simple. I've been thinking a lot about how I want to handle my video and what it is that makes a Lunduke show a Lunduke show. And in the long run, there will be some stuff behind me. I have some gadgetry and whatnot that will be on display behind me. But as a general rule of thumb, I'm going to keep things very simple. A Lunduke show is black and white. A Lunduke show does not have a lot of whiz-bang features. It just is. And here I am, and ta-da. A Lunduke show does not have edits. You watch, my wife and kids the other day stumbled across some guy on YouTube that does he's like a British guy that moved to the United States, and he does videos about things that are different between Britain and the United States. And he's a pretty funny guy, but he does these constant cuts, and he's always changing his angles and changing. Like every half sentence, he has a cut, and it's kind of nauseating how often he does these cuts. And I just he's good at it. His shows are quality. What was it? I think his name was Lost in the Pond, I think was his channel. Good, right? He's funny. He's got a cool attitude about him. Clearly he's a talented guy, no doubt about it. But he just these constant jump edits, and I don't do that. I don't ever edit if I don't have to, right? Like the only time I edit is if I'm doing like an interview and the guest starts swearing and I need to go back in and beep it out. I did an interview one time where the guest was like, uh-oh, Lunduke, I was not supposed to talk about that thing we talked about. I am literally going to get fired if that airs like that. So we had to go back in and chop out a little 1 minute section of the chat we made, because I don't want to get like cool nerds in trouble just because they were idly chit-chatting about a thing they weren't supposed to talk about. So like those are the only times I do edits. Otherwise a show is a show. Like I hit the record button and then I hit the stop recording button. And whatever falls in between those things is the show. And I don't do multiple takes. I don't have scripts. This is what makes a Lunduke show. So I've been thinking long and hard about it, and this is what I'm looking at for the layout for the video of a Lunduke show, of a Lunduke journal show. How do you like it? It's simple. It's black and white. It says the Lunduke journal on it in kind of a noir-ish font, which I like, and we're gonna call it right there. Yeah, I'm glad you understand the problem with the jump cuts, John. My wife and kids, they didn't seem to have a problem with it. Maybe it's that I'm old. I also have a problem on like those little tilt-a-whirl spinning rides. I start to feel nauseous like within 2 seconds of getting on one. I didn't used to. When I was a kid, I could spin in circles for hours and it was just tons of fun. I just feel all tingly and have a good time. Nowadays, I instantly, thinking about them too much makes me want to retch. I can't do it. Yes, indeed. Get off of my lawn immediately. All right, so what we're going to do, feel free to ask me any questions you like. Queue up the questions. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to grab a couple of notes I have real quick, and we're going to do a show. And you can kind of watch and follow along as I do this show live. We're going to record it. It's going to have video. It's going to be amazing into your brain with my hands. And we'll rock and roll with that. And you guys can watch as I do the show, because why not? And then whatever time we've got left over, we'll just do for Q&A. Let me pull up my notes here, because I've got notes. It's a show. What's got notes? What am I looking at here? I'm loading up the thingy. Where is the thing? I put all my notes in one little thing over here. It is not that cool, but it's cool. Here it is. I just wanted to make sure the thing we're about to record is very simple. It's a very straightforward show, and those of you who have been around here for a while will recognize the topic and will feel totally fine about it. There it is. All right, that's what I was looking for. All right, I'm gonna go like this. Let's see, that goes right here, I'm pretty sure. And then, whoa, Lunduke, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, you guys, speaking of which, I just watched Johnny Mnemonic in black and white. And it blew my mind. So Johnny Mnemonic, the Keanu Reeves classic. Keanu Reeves, written by William Gibson, starring Keanu Reeves, Johnny Mnemonic, where they jack in his brain and they load gigabytes of data into his brain to smuggle data, but he smuggled too much data, man. And, that movie. Anyway, the director, with a big thumbs up from Keanu and a bunch of other guys, took the movie, the original movie, and made it black and white. and like kind of tweaked the visuals a little bit, like not like the special effects. All the special effects and scenes are the same as the original, just made it black and white, but like, tweaked the contrast here and there to make it look more pizzazzy in black and white. It is a whole new movie. Oh my gosh. It is 10 times better than Johnny Mnemonic, the regular movie. Johnny Mnemonic, it's literally called Johnny Mnemonic in black and white. That's the whole title of the movie. I highly recommend it. It's up on the Criterion Collection streaming service. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but if you can find it anywhere, go get it. It's fun. It is so much better than the original Johnny Mnemonic, which is a movie that I kind of like. I mean, it's really cheesy. It's over the top. It's got some problems, but I've always kind of enjoyed it. But the black and white version, it's the only way to see it. Gotta watch it in black and white, guys. Hey, Gregory. Gregory says, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of yours. Been following your work since the Jupiter Broadcasting days. Fantastic. Well, Gregory, it's great to have you around. Absolute pleasure. I've been broadcasting to you since the Jupiter Broadcasting days. So we got that in common. All right, here we go. I'm going to record this show. And it is going to be straightforward and easy and fun. It is a very relaxed show that's about to take place. I'm going to go look at one more note of mine. And we'll rock and roll with this. All right, so let's see. It's September 18th, 19th, 20th. Got it. All right. Let me make sure I got this. Nope. Oh, yeah. You know what we do. You know what we do. That's right. That's what we're doing. Okay. Starting just 2 days from now, 2 days, I say, it'll be Windows 3.1 week at the Lunduke Journal. And why I'm telling you this now and not 2 days from now is because you need to prepare. You need to get yourself ready for the awesomeness that is Windows 3.1 week. It starts on, hold on, I'm going to look it up, September 20th, Wednesday, September 20th, officially at 8 a.m. Central Time, because that's when I'll wake up and start. But you can get started anytime you like. I'm going to bump the microphone, but I'm only going to do it once. What it's going to be is 1 full week, 7 days, from Wednesday to Wednesday, where we at the Lunduke Journal at lunduke.locals.com are going to be focusing on Windows 3.1. No, Windows 3.11, Windows for work groups and all that, that's all allowed, but it has to be Windows 3.1. It has to be in that line. If you really, really wanted to, you could do Windows 3.0, and that would be purely acceptable as well. And the reason for this is a very, very important thing. Why not? Because Windows 3.1 is old. Windows 3.1 in many, many ways is busted and janky. But it is also delightful. It is also nostalgic. It is also kind of an amazing system, an amazingly capable system that may not be fully appreciated by a lot of people nowadays. It gets made fun of. It gets mocked and ridiculed. The Windows 3.1 Program Manager, the Windows 3.1's multitasking capabilities, so many things get called into question. But the reality is, it's actually a pretty powerful system. It's fast, it's sleek, realistically. It has a huge amount of software. It has a full multitasker. I mean, it's got actually two different kinds of multitasking, both preemptive and cooperative, depending on what type of application you're running. It's pretty doggone fantastic. And what's really amazing about Windows 3.1 nowadays, trying to use it now in 2023, is how many places you can run Windows 3.1 exceptionally well. For instance, you can put DOSBox or any sort of other PC emulator on your Android phone and run Windows 3.1 remarkably fast, which means you can run early versions of Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Photoshop, etc. on your phone. Think about that. You can run Photoshop version 4 on your Android phone. It works. I do it right now. It's ridiculous, but it works. And the fact that you can do all of this stuff leads me to think, is Windows 3.1 an even more valuable and useful operating system nowadays in 2023, even than perhaps it was, just 10 years ago, 20 years ago, heck, 30 years ago. Okay, not 30 years ago, but close to that. So we're going to go down that line. We're going to go down that line and we're going to talk about a wide variety of Windows 3.1 related topics. I've got a tutorial that will be coming out either Wednesday or Thursday on how to set up a virtual machine running Windows 3.1 with networking and sound and proper VGA drivers and just really getting a good quality Windows 3.1 experience. I mostly focus on 3.1.1 Windows for Workgroups, that specific version, because it's the easiest for networking, and it's just kind of the polished end of the line for the Windows 3.1 line. You know what I mean? That's kind of like where it stopped. For me, that's the end of the line on that Windows series, and so that's always where I settled on. But just pure plain Jane 3.1, that does just fine too, and the tutorial I'm putting out will work great with that as well. So I'll be putting out that. I've got a number of older articles that I'll be kind of resurfacing, talking about the multitasking of Windows 3.1, the ways you can use it, software you can use with it nowadays. And then I've got a couple other things that I'll be posting just to show what you can do with it, like practically. And also things that you can do with it that are not practical at all, that are utterly ridiculous. Because half of the fun in computing is doing these ridiculous things, installing Linux on a potato, installing NetBSD on your toaster. These are things that bring us joy because we're weird people, and that's just the way it works for us. And so putting Windows 3.1 to work, installing After Dark and getting those toasters flying, installing Indiana Jones Desktop Adventures. If you've never played Indiana Jones Desktop Adventures under Windows 3.1, you're missing out. Installing games that many people didn't even realize were available for Windows 3.1. For example, Civilization 2. Civilization 2 was available first for Windows 3.1. Almost immediately, all subsequent releases of it were Windows 95 only, but that first release was Windows 3.1, and it runs remarkably well in Windows 3.1 in DOSBox inside your Android phone. So you can play Civilization 2 with the map editor and all this good stuff on your Android phone. It's cool. I mean, to be quite frank, that's some of the best gaming experiences you're going to get on an Android phone. And that's not to dog Android or anything, but that's awesome. That's awesome, dog. So we're going to be diving into all of that. And I'm going to be encouraging all of you to post along as well. Screenshots, video clips, little tips and tricks, questions, queries, just pleas for help to the Lunduke Journal community at lunduke.locals.com. So come and play along. What's really cool about these weeks is it doesn't fully take over everything we do at the Lunduke Journal, right? Because I'll still have interviews and other articles coming. I lied. I'm gonna bump the microphone at least once more during this show. But it gives us a chance to focus just a little bit on something that we wouldn't necessarily have another reason to focus on. We've done DOS weeks and PDA weeks and BSD weeks and all sorts of things. And now here we are doing a Windows 3.1 week. And I'm pretty excited about it because I think what's interesting is there are a lot of us that have a significant amount of experience with Windows 3.1. But there's also a lot of people here that never really ran it, which I know is what? It's crazy. It's crazy to think that there are significant numbers of people in this world that have never really gone down the Windows 3.1 rabbit hole, that have just never really done that. And so now is an opportunity. Now is an opportunity to relive that part of the early 1990s and just really see what it was all about. So if you want to install DOS 5 and Windows 3.1 on an old, Toshiba laptop or something like that, go for it. Post pictures. If you want to put Windows 3.0 on one of those little HP Palm tops, those little LX200s, those will run it Windows 3.0, not 3.1, but 3.0 runs great on there. I think it counts. And then you want to go and just put it in an emulator on your Android phone or your Linux PC and just load it up with Windows 3.1 games, go nuts. If you just want to do nothing but take screenshots of After Dark screensavers, do it. Gosh darn it, do it. Slapping the table on that one. Post pictures about it. Post your experiences. Because the reality is, as much time as I spent in Windows 3.1, I am confident that over the course of this week, I will see things, learn things, and get new ideas that I never had the chance to do or have before. Because that has happened every single week we've done this. Every single week we've gone through this, I've learned something or experienced something I never got to do before. And so join us at lunduke.locals.com. I'm going to read a few things to you guys here real quickly here. I started doing this thing. This is a side note. This is a side note. This is a total side note. I started doing this thing where if people sign up to the Lunduke Journal and they get what I call the triple pass, which is a way of getting a yearly subscription for all three of the locals servers I get. Lunduke.locals.com, which is the tech, conservativenerds.locals.com, which is the politics, and nerdyentertainment.com, which is like movies and books and comic strips and all that sort of thing. If you sign up for the triple pass, which you can find out about if you just go to lunduke.locals.com, get a free account, there'll be a description somewhere about it. I'm writing limericks for people. I was just going to do this on Sunday, and I've only done a couple of them so far. I've got a couple more coming out, but I wanted to read these limericks to you now. So the deal I'm giving to people is this, and this is mostly just because it entertains me, is if people pick up the triple pass for the year, I go ahead and I write a limerick for them, and then I post that limerick for the public with their name in it. So they get a nerdy limerick about themselves. These are clean limericks. So everyone, mind out of the gutter. There will be nothing that rhymes with Nantucket. Well, there might be something that rhymes with Nantucket, but it won't be the word you're thinking of. This one came in from Don. So a guy named Don subscribed on Sunday. And this is what I wrote for Don. There once was a sysop named Don who ran an RM in a cron. He made it recursive with pseudo coercive. Every hour, his data is gone. that one made me happy. And then a guy named Eddie. A guy named Eddie on Sunday afternoon grabbed a triple pass subscription, and here's Eddie. Now I should full disclosure. I do not know if Eddie runs Arch. Eddie did not say that he ran Arch, but I'm assuming as much. My name is Arch User Eddie, my system so slow and unsteady. How Wayland does flicker, and here's the kicker. I give up. Let's install Debian already. Ta-da! Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Internet. Oh, the sun has shifted. Look at that. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. Yeah, the sun really shifted. Now I've got a beam of light cutting right through a curtain over here. It's like a 3-inch beam of light that's just like power blasting my face. Thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. Head over to Lunduke. There you go. See, I hit the microphone again. Head over to lunduke.locals.com. You can see the line right on my arm. And grab the subscription if you don't have one. If you already have one, you're all set. You're all set. And then hang out with us for Windows 3.1 week. It'll be great. All right, everybody. I'll see you later. End podcast. See how easy that was? Dude, this light came out of nowhere. Now let's just do some Q&A. I'm gonna click on things. Oh, I should remove this. We don't need that there anymore. This, we don't need that right there. Boom, it's gone. Okay, I gotta come up with something to. Hold on a second. I'm gonna fix this light situation because this is ridiculous. This is. See where. The where the curtain is really hard to get. Maybe I'll just live with it. There'll just be this really cool beam of light right on my face. Oh, Lord in heaven. Lord in heaven. Setting up proto-web on older OSs, including 3.1. I went from MS-DOS straight to Windows 2000. I don't blame you, Jim. Windows 2000 was awesome. And MS-DOS was awesome. I mean, realistically, those were great systems. They really were. They really were good systems. Hold on a second. Let me pull something up here. All right. So that podcast I'll be posting later. If you guys have already seen it though, because you're the lucky ones. You're the square pegs in the round hole. Oh man, that light is bright. Can I sit back here? Yeah. Except now I'm really far away from the microphone. That doesn't work as well, does it? I wonder if I just scoot my table. That kind of works. But now if I go like this, it makes my just that loud. All right, that's fine. All right, so what have we learned today? We've learned that the locals live streaming is fine, or will be fine, but they need to fix their servers, and they've got all the stuff all messed up right now. That's okay. Let's head back in here and let's see if this... Yeah, man. That thing is a little bit broken. All right, there's some people still over in the locals chat. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening, like everyone over on locals. It says the live stream has not started yet. At the same time, it says it looks like you've already started this stream from another device or browser. It's dorked up. It's all dorked up. All right, I'm going to try moving this table again. You like that? It's pretty good, right? Wow, looks weird. Oh, that looks weird. Anyway, all right, let's pop open the chat here. Yeah, so it's just weird. So if you're on locals, it's probably not going to work great today. The video version will be out, pretty quick here. I'll post the video version of this show tonight. I'll post it tonight. And so it'll be up for everyone to grab. You know what? I'll probably post the video version of this show on all the platforms. just to make sure we get the word out about the awesomeness of Windows 3.1 week. But and then I'll do the audio podcast version as well, because that's cool. All right, if you got any questions, lay them on me. I'm open to anything. We can talk about divine beams of light. We can talk about Windows 3.1. We can talk about... June asks, I loved your Linux Sucks Forever talk at Linux Fest Northwest, but why was it delisted? June, I have migrated all the video watching stuff over to locals. Now, I am live streaming on YouTube once again, and will post the occasional video to YouTube here and there. Like I will today with the video we just recorded. However, man, that light is just like following me around. However, there's a couple of things about posting a lot of my big shows to YouTube that I just don't like. I don't like that YouTube sells the advertisements to you. And I don't like that YouTube sells your data to other companies. It bothers me. YouTube treats all of you like you're the product, right? And I'm the middleman delivering the product. I'm like the Frito-Lay truck delivery guy, except instead of delivering delicious corn chips, I'm delivering delicious nerds. And I don't like that. Not the candy, but the real people. You're like Soylent Green, essentially. And I don't like the idea of treating all of you like product. It makes me feel yucky. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to treat all of you like product. And so because of that, I've pulled the vast majority of my shows off of YouTube. That said, they are almost all... Definitely all the big ones are available over on Locals, lunduke.locals.com. People who sign up and subscribe over there, there's no ads, right? So you just go ahead and it's so much light. There's just so much bright light. There's no ads. There's no tracking of what you're watching and selling that data to something else. The switch don't do nothing. That switch back there is for a light on the wall over here, and it's off right now. It ain't gonna do nothing. So I don't like the idea of putting my big shows up on YouTube. I will be doing some shows here and there where the bigger shows will appear on Rumble a little bit, but they're all going to appear on Locals, all of them, every single show, all the live streams, all the podcasts, all the Linux Sucks shows, and the Windows is Awesome, and the Mac OS Sucks show that we just did. I mean, Mac OS Sucks hasn't appeared anywhere except for on Locals. It's just on Locals. And if you haven't seen Mac OS Sucks, go watch that one. That one was fun. That one was a good time. People have been asking me to do a Mac Sucks show for years, a decade or more, to do a Mac Sucks show. And I finally did it. And I had a great time doing it. It was a very different show this year than it would have been, say, 10 years ago. A very different show. But I think it was an important show, especially for like Mac people, to watch. I think it's worth watching. Plus, it's funny. And so all of those are over there. So you want to watch, They're Watching You, or Programmers Are Evil, or Windows is Awesome, or any of those old shows. Those are all over on Locals at lunduke.locals.com. I recommend you sign up over there and in order to get those shows. I know a lot of people are hesitant to sign up for new platforms, and I get why. No one wants to have a bunch of 1,000 different subscriptions floating around. I mean, what a pain in the patootie. But I think this one's worth it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Otherwise, I would have come up with something different. I would have had a different system in place. But it doesn't mean that you can't just simply subscribe to me on YouTube and enjoy my content. You can. You'll just miss out on the vast majority of it. But you'll still get some. You'll still get a little bit. a little teeny bit, but only a little bit. But I really, going over to locals, it's the way of the future for me, and I think for quite a few other. What is there to do on Windows 3.1? The skiing game? Well, to start with, yes, Ski Free is yes, the skiing game, but also Civilization, SimCity. Quite a few first-person shooters, quite a few adventure games, a number of really cool RPGs, multiple visual development environments, Visual Basic 3. It's tons of fun. It's actually really fun to play with. Old Office suites, audio editing, music stuff, MIDI editing, After Dark screensavers, Photoshop. I mean, Windows 3.1, man. Windows 3.1 is a remarkably capable system. You don't realize it. It doesn't seem like it should be remarkably capable. That's not the impression and the takeaway most people have. But it is. Extraordinarily so. In fact, I mean, if you took Windows 3.1 nowadays, updated it so that it had, say, just like 32-bit memory addressing, so it could handle, all 4 gigabytes or so of RAM, and I don't know what the upper memory limit is for Windows 3.1. That'd be interesting to look into. I was looking into the virtual machines not long ago, because Windows 3.1's kernels and virtual machines are really fascinating, but I haven't really looked into the upper memory limits. I have to look into that. But and give it like modern GPU and sound drivers and maybe some Wi-Fi drivers. Actually, Windows 3.1 could be a very capable system. You could probably do what we're doing right now on Windows 3.1. You could have modern web browsers on it. It'd be fine. And so it's a surprising system. It really is. It's a surprising system to go back to this many years later. I'm startled by it. Every time I go back to look at 3.1, I'm surprised at what I find. I really am. Honestly, truly and honestly, it's easier to get up and running on a usable Windows 3.1 system, like a system that you want to enjoy using regularly, than it is to, say, set up an early Linux machine and use it. Does OS 2 count? Yes, as long as you're running a version of OS 2 that has the Windows 3.1 in it. Because Windows 3.1 has, because OS 2 has a Windows 3.1 runtime environment. You actually can run a full version, modified sort of Windows 3.1 in it, and it's a fantastic system. I highly recommend it. It's actually a great way to run Windows 3.1. In fact, if you want to get OS 2 Warp 3, OS 2 Warp 4, Ecom Station, Arca OS from Arca Noe, any of those OS 2 based operating systems will have Windows 3.1 in it, and you'll have a great time. That totally counts. Tim asks, didn't it only run 32-bit? Sort of. So actually, the Win32 API first really made an appearance. Okay, that's not correct. The Win32 API first made its appearance in that line of Windows. What became eventually Windows 95 in Windows 3.1 via the Win32S runtime environment. So what's interesting about Windows 3.1, if you put in Win32S, WinG, and a few other extensions here and there, you end up with a system that is remarkably capable, including of running 32-bit applications in an extremely stable, high-performance, excellently multitasked way with really, for the time, excellent graphical performance. It's really surprising how far you can take Windows 3.1. It really, really is. And that's something we're going to be going into a bit this week. It's almost startling how good you can make Windows 3.1. And in fact, yeah, we'll get into it more as the week goes on. But I think all of you that are hanging out over on Lunduke.locals.com, you'll know what I'm talking about by the end of the week. I'll post pictures and video clips. We'll do at least one round of video tours. I'll have a Windows 3.1 setup, and I'll show everyone what I've got in my ultimate Windows 3.1 setup. So what games I have installed, what software I have installed, what it's like to run it, what the performance is like, what the cool screensavers I use, all of it. And so you can kind of see start to finish what that all looks like. My Abandonware has hundreds of Windows 3.1 games for your entertainment enjoyment. Yes. Finding Windows 3.1 games is not terribly difficult. Some of the publishers have even released stuff for free, which is great. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to link to stuff that I can verify is legally downloadable. It's always a gray area when you're dealing with abandonware-ish titles, but when it's verifiable, I'm gonna be linking to some of it because some of it has been released for free over the years. In fact, some of it's been released as open source, which is pretty darn rad. Any chance Microsoft releases the source code to old Windows under the GPL so we get nice source ports? I think that's highly unlikely. What we've gotten so far is early versions of WinFile, the file explorer for like Windows 2.0, and the earliest versions of DOS, I think DOS 1.1 or something like that. That's as far as they've gone. I have petitioned them. I have talked to them about releasing later versions of Windows as open source, especially Windows 3.1, which is just so utterly iconic. But it's not. I'm not going to hold my breath. That's not in Microsoft's DNA. You know what I mean? Microsoft talks a lot about loving open source, but they don't really release stuff as open source, even if they haven't made a dime off of something for 30 years, they still don't release it as open source. So I wouldn't count on it. That's just not their thing. Let's see here. Let's see if I got any things up and running over here. Rumble's app made me do this. Glad to see you live on Rumble. Welcome, Mr. Lunduke. Well, thank you very much. Rumble's app made me do this. It is always good to see you guys over on Rumble as well. We will be, of course, always streaming to Locals. But Locals is having some technical issues right now. I know they're working on their streaming servers and whatnot, and so we'll give them some time on that one. And as soon as it's working quite right, we'll be able to say, hey, we're on Locals and Rumble and YouTube, and that'll be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that quite a lot. So we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central. Well, not quite 9 a.m., more about 9:20, 9:30 a.m. is when it'll start. And it'll be fantastic. It'll be really fantastic. I'm hopeful that local servers will be in a little better state by then. If not, we'll be live on YouTube and Rumble just the same, because why not? Why not, right? This week coming up, we've got a lot of stuff going on other than just the Windows 3.1 week. We've got 2 interviews coming on Lunduke.locals.com, 1 interview coming on nerdyentertainment.locals.com, 1 more interview coming on conservativenerds.locals.com. Speaking of which, I'm not going to get political here. No, everyone, don't worry. We're not going to get political here. I did an interview with Ben Heckendorn, and who is amazing. He's the guy that, made an Atari 2600 portable, made an Apple II GS portable, all that sort of thing. And I did an interview with him over on conservativenerds.locals.com. And it was an incredibly fun, extremely political interview. So that's why I posted over there, and I don't post it anywhere else, because I don't I don't want to force people to get into politics, right? Like I want, on the tech side of things, I want us all to be able to hang out together and we just keep politics out of it, right? We don't talk politics. We don't talk religion. We leave that all to the other places, right? But that's why, but I posted it over on Conservative Nerds, but I also posted it to YouTube because Ben Heckendorn was kind of big on YouTube. He used to have the Ben Heck show and everything else. And, YouTube took the video down because of the politics that Ben Heck expressed. Or the politics I expressed, possibly. I don't know. YouTube wouldn't tell me. I appealed it, and YouTube said no. Under no circumstances was me and or Ben Heckendorn allowed to say whatever we said. No, we didn't swear. We didn't threaten anyone. We didn't break any laws. We didn't suggest people break any laws. I have no idea. You know, it was a it was a pretty PG, light PG even sort of discussion. I mean, that's how I roll. We don't go beyond the PGs. You know what I'm saying? And so I was dumbfounded. So the few things that I put over on YouTube, a lot of time get pulled off of YouTube. I've mentioned this before, but for over a year, every single video I put on YouTube that had the word Linux in the title was instantly demonetized by YouTube for over a year. I mean, YouTube shadow banned me for the longest time, and they stopped shadow banning me. Then they started shadow banning me. It was ridiculous. And now they're just straight out saying that if I have political ideas, they'll just simply remove the video. So luckily, we have Locals and we have Rumble, which will allow things like Linux and political ideas and whatnot, because YouTube does not allow those things. Anyway, that's the truth. It's weird. It's really weird, but it's the truth of the matter. Am I going to be getting the new Atari 2600 Plus? Probably not, but it looks kind of cool. The Atari 2600 Plus, I mean, it's emulated. I don't know. I think it looks rad. It looks very, very rad. But just the same, I am glad it came out, because the more stuff that come out like that, the more awesome. I like the little emulated consoles. I've gotten a few of them over the years. I don't think I'll be getting the Atari 2600 Plus because I have a handheld Atari 2600 that I use regularly. My kids got it for me one year, and I love it. It goes on every road trip with us, and I just don't know that I need another place to play 2600 games. You know what I mean? So I don't think I'll be getting another one like that. Rumble looks smooth, much better than Locals. That video would probably do well on Rumble. Not political. Have you embraced your Lord and Savior Kubernetes? I have not. I have not come unto the light of containers and Dockerization and salt stacks and Kubernetes and ranchers and whatever other ones we're talking about these days. I'm pretty old school in my tech. I'll use new tech, but I use it in an old school way. I'm like, no. Not my way. Not my way. Anyway. All right, let's see. So tomorrow morning we'll be here. We'll be definitely up and running by 9:30 Central, probably a little bit beforehand, 9:15, 9:20 or so. Right here, YouTube, Rumble, and Locals. Hopefully Locals will be up and rocking by then. If not, we'll still be up on Rumble and YouTube. That'll be great all by itself. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Again, if you haven't grabbed the subscription over at lunduke.locals.com yet, grab that. The triple pass gets you a free limerick. Yeah, it's pretty fancy. What else? I think that's about it. Let's see if there's any remaining questions. No remaining questions over on Rumble, and we need to grab over on YouTube. Best guy who tells it like it is asks, "Where's the BBS?" The BBS is down. BBS has been down for quite a few months, in fact, and it's sad. It makes me very, very sad. what to say about the BBS, except that it's not dead. It's just offline, which is it's archived and it's ready to go back up online once I'm ready to throw the switch. What I was trying to do was tie in and integrate the user accounts excuse me, of the BBS is some way to sync them with the user accounts over on Locals. So people could pick up a local subscription and have the same accounts over on the BBS. Now, Locals is actually pretty great in that they make it fairly easy for me to export user accounts and user lists. And that allows me to give additional features and whatnot to people who subscribe over on Locals. And the BBS software I was using, which was Virtual Advanced, keeps all that stuff in very simple, plain text editable files for the most part, for some of the stuff I needed anyway. And so I've been hoping, for a long time, I've been putzing around with finding ways to sync that direction. Now, I was working on this before I ditched Substack. And I was working on a series of scripts to sync the user account privileges between Substack and Locals and then export it into the BBS. And it was buggy as all get out. It was because I was basically, web scraping and doing all sorts of stuff to make all this happen. And it was just buggy. I was having so many issues with it. And as long as that's happening, I don't want to rely on it because I don't want to screw up everyone's accounts because that's just going to mean, weeks of nonstop administrative work for me. But luckily, we kind of stopped using Substack and we've migrated everyone over to Locals, or at least we're trying to migrate everyone over to Locals. And that makes it a little bit easier because then all we have to do is export from Locals and import into the BBS one way. Right? It doesn't need to go the other direction. And so I'm hoping that we can get that up and running with like a nightly automated script that loads up the Locals and use like a simple little web script to load up the Locals page, export the user account data, run it through a script to check for any changes, and then modify the BBS user accounts so that everybody has full access to the BBS that has a local subscription and has it kind of tied together in a couple of weird ways. I wanted to make it work because I wanted to do things like trade wars and Lord tournaments, and I wanted people on Locals to be able to have like unlimited access so they could log into the BBS and be on it for 24 hours a day if they wanted to, right? And playing trade wars, right? So hopefully we'll get that working. It's important to me. It's not a big selling point. It's not like people become Lunduke Journal subscribers just because of the BBS. I mean, maybe a couple of us do, right? But by and large, it's a pretty small audience. It's more that it's something that I truly enjoy, and it's a big deal for me. And it's coming back. The BBS will make a glorious return. We'll get a tournament going. Probably, I think the first thing we'll do is a trade wars tournament because I miss it so much. But other people have mentioned, tournaments around, doing a Lord tournament or a pit tournament or something like that. We'll play around with it and come up with something. I don't have any specific plans or dates yet, but that's where that's at. It has to be a lower priority than so much of the other work that gets done, so many of the shows and articles and whatnot. But it'll happen. It'll happen. All right, everybody. Let's see. Any other lingering things? BBS is pining for the fjords. Yes, that might be true. I wonder if you can merge local chats with IRC. I know you can do it with Discord. That's how I use Discord on Windows. Well, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, the Locals chat has gotten a lot better. It used to have problems where it would get out of sync and it would stop updating, and it used to have some issues. It's gotten a lot better. And so I'm hoping that continues. But it might be kind of cool to be able to interface it with something else, an XMPP bridge or IRC or something. I don't know. That's really up to the Locals people, but I like the idea. All right, everybody. I'm going to head out now. I'm going to go upload some stuff because stuff that uploads is better than stuff that didn't get uploaded. And I'm going to go have a good time. Lots of stuff coming this week. Oh, there's a big article dropping later this week that will make people grumpy. And I'm excited about that one. I love articles that make people grumpy. Oh, it's one of those big investigative journalism pieces. Those are good. All right. That's it. That's it for now. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning if you're around. And that's it. I'll see you later. Click. Look at that. It's a title screen. That's pretty cool, Lunduke. You're right, little Lunduke. It sure is. I left the microphone on.